Welcome to today's Research Business Daily Report, where we have a special presentation from Unilever Senior Vice President of Consumer and Market Insights, Sthanunathan. RBDR is sponsored today and this week by KL Communications, which asks, is your online community feeling stale? Let KL Communications help you bring the power of co-creation to your online communities, which will vastly improve them. And details for you come at the end of today's report. Many a researcher expresses him or herself at conferences or in private about the changing marketplace that research has to compete in. And it is certainly a challenge. But last week at the annual MRS conference in London, Sthanunathan, Unilever's Senior Vice President of Consumer and Market Insights, explained the big picture and then ventured into 10 things, or as he put it, 10 commandments, that the research industry needs to consider and alter in order to succeed. Stan agreed to reprise two parts of his MRS presentation for us at RBDR. Today, his 10 commandments.
In a world which is changing very rapidly, we are all staring at the inevitability of actually creating twice the impact at half the time and half the cost. And that's what is expected of the insights function, both from an agency side and from a client side. Now, that is going to call for a fair amount of revolution. And this revolution is going to be underpinned by what I believe are the 10 commandments, which will shape the future of insights industry. The first one is get social or get ready to be branded anti-social. People are out there talking about us, but not necessarily to us. With the technology advancing as rapidly as it is, our ability to mine all those information, to unearth insights that we could never ever do so before, is actually phenomenal. And that's when we have to really come to a conclusion that we need to get social or we would be branded as anti-social. The second commandment is all around data becoming commodity, insights getting democratized, and actions becoming the edge. We all know that in the good old days, data used to be the gold. But then today, with the inundation of data thanks to the digital revolution, it is actually commodity. You can buy it ridiculously cheap. And with all the powerful mining tools that we have, ability to generate insights is now within arm's reach of desire for most people. So what is going to give the insights function a unique edge? It is the ability to drive actions going forward. That's the second commandment. The third commandment is all around what I call as get visual or get impact. The rapidly changing world that we are all living in is resulting in all of us, in some form or the other, suffering from ADD. That's because there is too much being thrown at us, and our ability to process complex information is being challenged every day. And people are turning around and saying, make it easy for me to understand, otherwise I couldn't be bothered. And that's why getting visual in the way you tell the story is not an optional conversation. If you don't do that, your ability to succeed is going to be impaired quite significantly. The fourth commandment is innovate, don't renovate. Over the last few years that I have been in this industry, we have seen a fair amount of renovation of tools and techniques that have happened. While renovation is not a bad thing in and of itself, but in a world that is changing so rapidly, if we don't break the old and create the new at breakneck speed, our existence could be challenged. And that is going to call for significant innovation in the way we actually do research. The first commandment is become master of metamorphosis. We need to exponentially increase the rate at which we can change ourselves and adapt ourselves to a world which is changing at a much faster rate than what we can actually cope with. In that environment, we should not be afraid of failing because only by failing we will learn much faster. Our ability to fail fast and learn even faster is going to dictate whether we're going to become successful going forward or not. Therefore, becoming a master of metamorphosis is actually not an optional conversation. The sixth commandment is all around digitize and humanize. Yes, we are all confronted by digitization of our lives. Everything that we touch and feel is getting digitized. And as a result, we have a huge amount of information that is being spitted out. What is actually woefully inadequate in today's context is the ability to humanize the data in a way in which it can be consumed by people, in a way in which whatever tools and techniques that we create in the digital environment is, has got a human touch that would make it easy for people to interact with it and give us insights in an easy way, is going to define the success of the insight industry in the future. The seventh commandment is think bipolar. The world has never been more polarized than where it is today. Whether it is age polarization, income polarization, religious polarization, or any other dimensions you look at, there is a huge amount of polarization. Let's just take the age polarization. The millennials are going to be a huge segment for any business going forward. And on the other hand, you have 55 plus year olds who are also quite sizable and have never been as big as they are today. If you just take that one dimension, which is age, the way we collect information from these two diverse and polarized target audience is going to be very, very different. Are we comfortable with actually using this bipolar approach to collecting insights in order to drive transformative marketing actions? When you look at all these big commandments that are going to shape the way we are going to be uh, looking at insights, the eighth commandment becomes a very obvious one. It is too risky not to take risks. Every single day, one has to ask a question: have I taken one big bold step that is going to make me look good, that is going to transform the way we do insights? We might fail, and that's okay. But if we don't take risk, we run the risk of becoming redundant. The ninth commandment is never underestimate the power of n equal to 1. While I have, you know, visuals of people like Gandhi, Mandela, and Teresa and Martin Luther King in mind, what I'm talking about is the power of influencers. The insights industry has specialized and created a big business by understanding consumers and shoppers. But going forward, we need to understand a third group of people called the influencers. In a digitally connected world, they are the masters who are going to dictate success or failures of brand. How do we actually understand who the influencers are, what makes them tick, and how can we actually leverage them to actually create a brand at scale going forward? So n equal to 1 is all around n equal to understanding influencers. And the last commandment is real time is the new currency. In this digital world where a lot of action is happening literally by the minute, people are losing patience when you actually go and tell them that thanks for the brief, I'll come back to you after 6 weeks to give you insights. Because very often, when you go back to them with the insights after 6 months, they might have moved on and they might actually look at you and say, and what was the brief? In that kind of a world where they believe that everything can be made available to them in real time, how do we as an industry rise to that challenge and make sure that we can provide insights real time to our end users. And if real time insights are going to be made available to the people, we need to also ask ourselves a question: what is going to be our role in delivery of the real time insights? Are we going to become subservient to machines, or are we going to carve out a clear enough role for us in which we can add value to the real time insights that will get delivered in some form or the other by someone or the other? What do we do in that environment is something that we need to ask ourselves. So that was a quick speed through of the 10 Commandments.
Of course, our thanks to Stan. And now that you've heard his counsel about what we need to do to prepare ourselves for what's happening now, well, he's got 10 predictions about what is going to happen in our research marketplace, and you'll hear that tomorrow. That's been Research Business Report for today, sponsored by KL Communications, which asks, is your online community feeling stale? Fact is that online communities have been with us now for about 15 years, but no matter how long you have taken advantage of them, KL Communications can help you freshen it up for your business. KL Communications will take you way past capturing the opinion of crowds and help you collect and use the wisdom that you can gain from crowds. To learn more, including how this has already benefited companies like Delta Airlines, Time Inc., and Bacardi, visit the link that accompanies today's RBDR video. Have a great research day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.